Correctional Services is appealing to members of the public to help with any information that may lead to the arrest of the so-called Facebook rapist, Thabo Bester. Department spokesperson Singabakho Nxumalo says a post-mortem done on the body found in Bester's prison cell was not his. This information has led Correctional Services to believe that Bester escaped from the Mangaung maximum security prison in May of last year. To discuss this further, we're now joined by research specialist Lisa Vetten. Lisa, very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. I mean, this chilling story of Thabo Bester, who was convicted of murder, sexual offences and fraud, has taken South Africa by storm. What have you made of the revelations?
It's quite extraordinary. It's really quite unbelievable that this should be happening in a maximum security prison. I think what is even more concerning is how long would Thabo Bester have remained at large if Groundup hadn't started covering and picking up on the story last week? Because it appears there were suspicions last year already in June after his death. And this has just been left to linger for now a good 9 months. So it's very concerning because who knows where he is now. You know, and also is very worried for the complainants. This man did a great deal of damage to them. They may well have felt a lot safer knowing that he's behind bars, and now they hear he's out again. And I think just for the broader South African public, it leaves us worrying once again about the quality of the criminal justice system.
So what message do you think this well-orchestrated escape sends to the victims?
I'm sure that must be leaving them feeling deeply concerned. I mean, those were awful rapes. Now they know he's out there again. You know, when something like this has happened to you, you do worry constantly when that person is at large that they may come back, that they may find you. So I think here they are, having been promised that they were safe, that he's behind bars, being told that he's committed suicide, only to discover that he is at large. So I can't imagine that they must be feeling very safe at all right now.
And as far as the entire conversation around a national council that was meant to be set up to tackle GBVF almost 5 years since it was promised, how much of a difference do you think that would have made in assisting here, especially looking at what the victims may be thinking?
None at all, really, because this is a problem within the Department of Correctional Services, and the Council is not going to have authority over government departments. So I think we've got to have very realistic expectations of what a Council can do. The questions we need to be asking is, why has nobody in the Department of Correctional Services been suspended yet? What is the quality of the investigation that is going on? What kind of protections, what kind of contact has been made with the complainants? Has there been any effort made to allay any concerns that they may have? And I think we'd also be wanting to know what is the quality of the police investigation into this. Quite clearly, Thabo Bester has been leading a high life in Mangaung prison for quite a while. He was running his own company there. So, you know, it's all very well having a government spokesperson saying, you know, violence against women is the second pandemic, and we take it very seriously. But when you have scenarios like this, it completely undermines the work that government is trying to do. So I think there has to be some very careful thought around whether we're not just setting up structures that make it look like government is doing something. And then you have things like this that suggest that the people who work in government don't take these issues seriously at all, and that it's all just lip service.
Yeah. And in terms of keeping the story alive and having it gain momentum, what role do you think needs to be played by the public?
Well, I think what would be very helpful is, I mean, I was looking at some of the photographs of Thabo Bester taken in Sandton City a couple of months ago. I would not have recognized that man and in comparison to the pictures that are available from him at the time of his conviction in 2012. So I think it's very important that the police perhaps give us alternative pictures, you know, sketches of what he could be looking like now, so that people will know what he potentially looks like. Obviously, you've also got to find out what happened to his customary wife, the doctor, to trace her. People also need to be, I think, shown pictures of her so they know what she looks like in order to be able to put them together. So I think we need to be given information around what he may look like now. Plus, of course, there's got to be very careful watching of the borders, whether at the airport or just across to other countries, to ensure that he doesn't escape if he hasn't done so already.
Yeah, very concerning indeed. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for weighing in on this discussion.